Welcome to episode 6 of Physics Calculations, Until I Get a Girlfriend. Today we're going to be learning about normal force. So what is a normal vector? In analytic geometry, normal is a vector that is perpendicular to a surface. So in this flat surface here, it'd be pointing straight up. So for curved surfaces, you could get the tangent and then get the line that's perpendicular to it to get the normal at this point. Every point has a normal if it's differentiable. You don't need to know what that word means, but just know that every point has a normal. And if you remember that curves are a series of points, then each individual point along a curve has a different normal direction. So that's what a normal vector is. Now what's a normal force? When an object is sitting on a table, the force of gravity is acting downward, but the table is also pushing back against it. If there was no upward force, of course, it would just fall, just keep falling down, keep accelerating downward. And that upward force is called the normal force. And as you can imagine, the direction of that vector is normal to the surface that it's touching.
A lot of boring math later.
So the definition of normal force is the force that a surface exerts on the object in the normal direction.
With both direction and magnitude. Oh yeah!
Okay!
So we know what the direction is. How do we find the magnitude? According to Newton's third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So in a simple scenario such as that, the force of gravity must be equal and opposite to the normal force. So the magnitude would just be mass times acceleration.
Chicken.
For many cases, the normal force is just the force of gravity. But in a scenario like this, how do we find the normal force? 100-gram can, and I pull up with 0.5 newtons. Well, we know that the system is static, so the downward forces must be equal to the positive forces. Force of gravity is 9.8. Let's round that to 10. And then this is 0.1 kilograms. I don't actually know physics, guys. I only do it so you think I'm cool. So this is 1 Newton upward, and it's equal to 0.5, and then this is the unknown. So we could just solve for that, subtracting 0.5 newtons from both sides. So if I pull up half the can's mass, then the normal force is doing the other half's work. If I pull up with all the can's mass, then the normal force isn't doing any work. And if I pull up with no force, then the normal force is doing all the counteractive force. So that's the thing. Normal force is a counteractive force. So it's important that it's one of the things that you do last. It's a counteractive force that keeps objects from phasing through each other. Here's a side note. You know how I always say follow your units? Well, you also need to follow your sign. Sign is plus or minus, positive or negative. So let's assign downward direction to negative and the upward direction to positive.
Okay.
We know that the force of gravity is mass times acceleration. And we know the acceleration of gravity is down. The acceleration of gravity is negative. Alright, and we know that the normal force is equal and opposite to the force of gravity. So we know that the normal force is positive, which means that the normal force is upward. It just makes sense if you follow your signs and follow your units. So problem 3. Oh, let me get my drunk off the board. It's covering up my drawings. A 0.25 kilogram box is on a 0.75 kilogram box. Find the normal force that both objects experience. using Newton's first law of motion, we can get the big forces on one side and small forces on the other. And then we can simply solve the easy ones, such as weight, to get that. And we can solve, and then we just plug that in here and get the weight pretty easily to get the normal force of the big ones. And the weight we simply solve for, and then we can plug that into the original equation as well as getting the weight there, and we get the normal of the big one. Don't forget to dislike and subscribe. I still want to use this Dollar Tree tablecloth. Someday I will do something cool with it.